Hello, welcome to this your channel, the Eurofan. Text me. After the fantastic performance which brought to us one of the viral sensations in last year's contest. I'm not talking about the guys at Eurofan, who have achieved a respectable 10th place. Norway keeps as usual offering us memorable and unique proposals. And there was the expectation in particular on who will be in charge of taking the baton for the Scandinavian nation. Just right now, who will see to the artists who have the mission of representing their country on Liverpool. Let's go! For today's episode, I'm going to review the Norwegian entry for Eurovision 2023, which has been represented by singer Alessandra with the song Queen of Kings. We start by taking a look to the biography and career of this young artist before beginning her journey into the Eurovision experience. Alessandra Wattenmøller, mostly well known by her name, is a Norwegian-Italian singer and songwriter of Italian father and Norwegian mother, born in the city of Savona, Italy, and currently living at the city of Lillehammer, Norway. Her beginnings in music come at a very early age, participating in musical competitions in Italy since she was 6 years old, where she lives mostly of her childhood and adolescence. After graduating from high school in 2021, she decides to move to Norway, hoping to get closer to her family on the mother's side and focusing on pursuing a musical career, deciding to begin studies at the Lillehammer Institute of Music Production and Industries. You will eventually wonder how is that a complete stranger in the Norwegian musical scene ends up becoming the Norwegian representative of the contest. Now we will discover it in detail. The Norwegian public broadcaster will organize, as usual, what it went to be the 61st edition of their mythical national final Melody Grand Prix, just 1 month after the contest held on touring last year. The broadcaster opened a submission period for Norwegian artists and songwriters who wanted to take part in the competition, which lasted until mid-September of last year. And at the same time, taking a look for possible artists by direct invitation, both established artists in the Norwegian musical scene and in songwriting camps. In October of last year, they would announce that 21 artists will take part in the international final, revealing them officially in early last January, and being Alessandra among the chosen artists. In fact, when the songs were officially released, Alessandra's song in particular got viral very quickly thanks to TikTok, and also reaching their first place in the Norwegian musical charts, which granted her some favoritism ahead of the competition. On the other hand, there have been some changes for this edition, with the intention of making the format more simple and easy to understand. In one hand, unlike last year, the national final will consist of 3 semi-finals instead of 4, also discarding the duels of the semi-finals, and the second chance rounds after the semi-finals, simplifying the format to 4 shows including the final show. Apart of this, it was known that since a few editions ago, there was a number of pre-qualified artists for the final show, but for this time this privilege was dropped out, by competing all the artists in the semi-finals in fair conditions. And finally, the international jury was reincorporated in the final show, having a weight of the 50% in the scores. Alessandra will make her first appearance in the first semi-final, being one of the 3 qualifiers for the final show, together with one of the big favorites for the edition, Ulrike Brangstorp, who had won the national final 3 years ago, back in 2020, but her participation at Eurovision got stained with the cancellation of the edition of that year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, without being able to present her proposal. Later in that final show, who took place in early last February, the voting results revealed that Alessandra was the absolute favorite for both the international jury and the public, giving the surprise and gaining the ticket to represent Norway on the main stage of Liverpool, 1 month after her victory in the competition, while her song was still going viral both in TikTok and in the streaming platforms. She will work in the recording and production of the official music video, which will be officially released in late last March. She has definitely come to claim her throne, Now here comes the analysis according to what she has presented in her proposal. The melody is a pop track with influences of electronic music, also having elements from sea shanties and Norwegian folk songs. During the chorus is remarkable a female choir, giving some epic character to the proposal. Vocally speaking, Alessandra's voice is pretty well done throughout all the song, where comes to our attention that whistle note before the last chorus. I am reminding in this case to Eden Aline, the Israeli representative in the edition of 2021, and Chanel Delecta, the Italian representative for the junior contest of last year, as they are the performers who have done this type of voice recently. The big question, as usual, is that if she will dare to sing that whistle note live. In the case of Eden, she had done it perfectly, while Chanel has abstained from doing it at last. Talking about the lyrics, Alessandra has described it in this way. The song talks about the power of the women, but also about the power of the people, of how important it is to be yourself. I'm bisexual, and when I lived in Italy I had to hide it, because I knew that most of my family and friends would not approve it. Therefore, I think that it is important to accept oneself, not caring about everyone else's opinions. As well as we have to accept that there will be dark moments in our lives, from which we will become stronger. Curiously, she has revealed that the song came out in one of the songwriting camps during last summer for the Norwegian national final, thus understanding that she was invited from one of those songwriting camps. Reading the lyrics in detail, it talks about a woman that is free from her inner prison to spread her wings and fly high, symbolizing a feeling of freedom. The first verse deepens in the description of the woman, which looks cold and distant, but actually she is a very warm and charismatic person, which conquers the hearts of the people. The second verse, on the other hand, describes the unbreakable will of being oneself, despite it could be a painful process, encouraging to break those chains that are preventing from it. The message behind the song is quite important. There is nothing like being authentic and being yourself, no matter what the people could think or say. Nobody has the right to limit our free expression of our way to be, and that is something we must stand for at any cost. Having reviewed the song, now I'm going to analyze the official music video release for this proposal. The plot begins with shots of a sort of futuristic pyramid, which is located in an uninhabitable place as it looks like, where many people are seen wearing metallic headsets with an intense red light, while it's heard an intro in Italian performed by Alessandra, doing an operatic voice with some echo. It is remarkable to say that this intro is not included in the original version of the song, but it was added later to the performance she has done in the national final. But I will talk about that much later. Getting back to the previous comment, I guess that those metallic headsets were doing some mental control of hypnosis, in which Alessandra was wearing one of them in fact, until later she takes it out to throw it away afterwards. The initial chorus begins with several shots of Alessandra laying on the floor of a sort of a container, and an operator which is monitoring certain activity through some screens, remarking in particular to a group of people who are wearing grey clothes and being blindfolded. The first verse shows Alessandra who is awake, wearing the same grey clothes as the people from before, while she moves and dances inside the container. The dynamics remain quite similar during the chorus, while two masked guys are seen on its way to look for her in the container. During the second verse, Alessandra is going behind the two masked guys in a hall full of torches, and soon later the group of people seen in the beginning are standing in a huge room without making any move. The masked guys put Alessandra among them, as suddenly in the second chorus she takes off the grey clothes, revealing a colorful dress, to start moving and dancing. Taking into account the background of the lyrics, I can understand this as that moment of liberation for her, showing herself the way she is and expressing herself, having a quite symbolic meaning. And it seems her liberation is having an effect, as during the bridge, the rest of the people start to take off the blindfolds and open their eyes, under the astonished look from the operators and the masked guys inside the room. It is like she encouraged them to wake up from the stagnation they were in, which is much more meaningful during the whistle note she performs just before the last chorus, where the grey clothes from there are changing to colorful outfits too. Then in the last chorus, some of them will start to perform a very dynamic choreography, while most of the girls behind Alessandra will start to make a march, alternating with shots of her inside the container. Towards the end of the music video, just at the end of the performance, there is a distant shot of the futuristic pyramids, with one of them emitting dark smoke from the top. Making a summary of all the comments, the Norwegian entry for this year is about bearing her first official single as an artist. The musical career of this girl is truly promising, and the fact of being known to the audience with such personal and particular proposal is something she will take advantage to the fullest. In fact, in the months prior to the contest, she released some lyric videos of her proposal in Polish, French, German, and Spanish as part of the strategy of the promotion of the track. And if it was not enough, she has also released the Italian version of her song translated by herself, also appealing to her Italian roots. Recalling her staging in the national final, the performance styles focus on her, dressed like a true Viking queen, with a discreet lighting while she performs the song. Getting back to the intro in Italian, I had commented previously that this part has been added to the song ahead of the national final, which in fact it does not appear in the official lyrics. This part says, "Combatteremo sempre pensi, amore e fede la gente rapi. Il nostro motto sarà così, bene vidi vici." Specifically, the three first phrases in Italian are translated in this way. "We will always fight, but love and faith kidnap people. Our motto will be like this." While the last phrase is in Latin and translated as "I came, I saw, I conquered," commonly used to refer something that has been successfully done very quickly. For those who do not have clear the origin, this phrase is attributed to the Roman general Julius Caesar in a letter addressed to the Roman Senate to describe his victory in the Battle of Sela, modern-day Sahel in Turkey, back in 47 BC. I will say that this is the most symbolic and meaningful part of the song, reflecting precisely the fight that is still ongoing nowadays for the defense and guarantee of LGBTI rights in Europe. Going back to the staging, during the first chorus, 4 dancers appear joining by her sides to perform a quite energetic choreography. With the second verse, Alessandra joins into the choreography with them, which is very dynamic, getting focused again in the vocal performance prior to the second chorus, in which the dancers perform another choreography using leg sticks. During the bridge, almost all the stage is in dark, with the focus on her as the big moment will come, and she sings the whistle note with some easiness, with the audience in the show going wild. Towards the final chorus, the dancers keep on the choreography with the leg sticks, while the lighting is more energetic until the end of the performance. This has been an incredibly good performance, so much so that the public and the jury got in ecstasy with her, and proof of that was the outburst of votes, who gathered her the victory in the national final. For the staging in Liverpool, it will be pretty similar to the national final according to what it could be seen during the rehearsals. Alessandra's outfit this time is outstanding, having been improved from the national final. The bustier, which is still green with golden details, looks more solid and with the shapes more perfected, while the hair accessory she is wearing resembles a lot to a tiara, which looks amazing on her and reinforces that Viking queen character she is projecting. In the other hand, the dancers are wearing outfits with details matching the one of Alessandra's, and they are also keeping the light stick seen previously. Watching her live performance in the first semi-final, it remains quite similar from the national final with barely few changes. The lighting is much more dynamic this time with the chorus, adding impact and drama to the performance. And there are some visual graphics briefly seen on the stage floor, although these are not giving a real added value. With the song's bridge, the lighting becomes warmer, while there are orange and yellow stripes on the visual graphics of the stage floor, which are later concentrated in a live view where she is standing to throw sparks out. Then the climax of the performance was upcoming with a whistle note from her, but despite the fact that she makes it, it does not turn out as expected. Even so, she has moved forward with the performance, singing the final chorus, finishing at the front of the stage. The overall performance was pretty well done, but her vocal performance has not reached that same point like she did in the national final, probably influenced by the fact that she was in charge of opening the show with the first semi-final. However, it was evident that she will qualify to the final with the support of the audience, and it happened indeed. Then later, in the grand final, the voting results initially placed Alessandra in the 17th place after the points received by the jury. It comes to attention how she was poorly valued by the jury. But it has not been all said and done. Soon after the points received by the public, will rocket her to the first position of the ranking, finally placing in a very well-deserved 5th place. Norway has improved its mark from last year, consolidating as one of the strongest contenders in the competition, with both distinctive and unique proposals. On the other hand, after becoming known as an artist not only in Europe but worldwide, Alessandra's musical career has begun her takeoff in style, although she will now have to work on establishing her artistic and musical identity as a singer and songwriter, in order to give the success achieved through the time. Shortly after her participation in the contest, she has released her second official single as an artist. At the same time, it is presumed that she will continue her musical studies, with the expectation that she begins to work in the release of her debut studio album in a short term. And you, what do you think about the Norwegian entry for this year? Come on and leave your comments down below, as the discussion is going to be really interesting. And this is it for today's episode. If this video has been of your taste, give a like, subscribe to my channel, enable notifications, and find me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.